see anything.
And if you move in the black, is there a feeling to it?
Just feels heavy. Like the air is heavy.
Tell me about the air. The air feels heavy.
Feels wet.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Are there any smells associated with it?
No.
What about any sounds that you notice in this black?
I think I hear the wind.
If you focus in on yourself, how would you describe yourself in this black?
I still don't see anything near anything. I just feel heavy.
I see. Do you get a sense, or what do you imagine you look like there? If you step into your imagination in the black and just fully step in just to your imagination, what do you imagine yourself to look like in the black?
Can't see anything.
And does it feel like you have a body or no body?
No body.
What does that feel like?
Heavy but free. Like there's nothing there, but I still feel like the weight of everything.
Tell me about that.
Just, I still feel myself, but I know I'm not there.
Oh, it's okay. Just focus on there. Is there anything in particular that you do when you're in the black, or do you notice what you do there?
Mm-mm.
And are there any lights that you notice, or is it just black?
It's just black.
I see. And do you feel as if you're alone there? Or is there somebody else there with you? Do you notice?
No, I don't see anyone or feel anyone.
Okay. And do you get a sense or feeling or even imagine as to what you are doing there?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So let's leave that scene and move either back or forward in time to a different time when you're not in the black. Moving to a different time when you're not in the black, and be there now. What do you notice now? What's the very first impression or feeling?
I think I'm too awake.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Is there anything that you imagine or visualize?
I see symbols.
Tell me about that.
harder to see. It's still dark, but they're coming in like gray almost.
Oh, they're gray.
Usually they're gold.
That's interesting. How would you describe them?
Swirls and patterns. I don't know what they are.
They look like swirls and patterns, and they're gray.
And shapes, yes.
Let's see. Interesting. If you were to imagine you had a flashlight in your hands and were able to turn it on, what do you imagine you could see in that dark?
Yeah, it's still just the symbols.
Okay, amazing. Tell me more. Are they still coming, or do you still see them? And how does it come?
They just come towards me and then they float away. Or they'll come in from the side and then float away.
Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. And is there anything that looks interesting or important about these symbols?
Triangles and pyramids. Something's swirling, but it's making me dizzy. I don't want to look at it.
Oh, okay. So you have triangles and pyramids and a symbol that's swirling.
It's like they're making it spin and it's making me dizzy looking at it.
Oh, you can tell them to stop. Can you ask who is making these symbols?
Who's making these symbols? They never answer me.
Okay. Did you get a feeling from them?
I feel like it's my alien friend.
Oh. Can your alien friend come?
No, I don't see him.
Okay. Interesting. Is there anything else you see?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else important about these symbols or the dark?
No.
Okay, let's leave that scene and let's go back in time to a childhood memory. Just choosing the very first childhood memory that pops into your awareness. Allow that to be the memory you go back to. Bring that into your awareness and be there now. Tell me the very first thing that comes to you. What do you notice?
It's still just dark. I don't see anything. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You're good. Well, the dark is important. Tell me about the dark.
It's still just the same.
Oh, then it must be important. Just really go into the dark. And if you notice anything about the dark, let me know.
Just my hands are hot.
Oh yeah, that's normal. That's good.
But I don't see anything.
Do you sense or feel?
My head feels stuffy. But I don't see any symbols or anything. Everything's just dark. Just my hands are hot.
So I want you to imagine that you can revisit a childhood memory in your imagination. So let's go back to a childhood memory. Let's leave that scene, let's leave the dark and go back to a childhood memory that you can imagine, that you can see. Go back to a childhood memory about the time, doesn't have to be, when you were 10 years old. Choosing a childhood memory about the time you were 10 years old and be there now. What's the very first thing that pops into your awareness?
I'm at Disneyland.
Tell me about it.
It's my mom and my aunt, me and my cousin, and I think my brother's there. But we wanted to go on a ride, but my cousin was scared, but we still did it. We took him on Indiana Jones.
Tell me about that ride, if you really focus on it. Tell me about
I
it.
could hear the noises and the smell of the gas. And I remember I lost my shoe on the ride. I could feel it bouncing on the car.
And if you focus in on yourself as you're in the car, can you imagine or visualize, try to piece what you're wearing there? Trust the very first thing.
I had white shoes, but I lost one. And then denim shorts. And I think it was a red shirt and a jacket.
If you focus in on yourself there, do you feel healthy or not?
Yes.
What else do you notice about yourself?
My hair was long, but I don't like putting it up. I know I was sad about my shoe. I was happy.
Oh,
very happy.
That's wonderful. Is there anything else that looks important about that scene?
No.
Let's leave that scene and let's move back in time. About the time you were 5 years old, just choosing any memory of about the time. And be there now. What's the first thing that comes into your awareness?
Playing at a neighbor's house. We were playing Barbies. And I accidentally broke a piece of her. It was a Barbie sponge, like a bath thing or something where you could give them a bath.
Oh.
And it was something so small, but I remember being scared. And then I said I wanted to go home, and I went home. And I told my mom, and I felt bad. But it was okay.
You told your mom what happened?
Yes.
How did you feel about this?
Felt scared. And it was a little flower sponge, and I wanted to wear it as a ring, and it tore the sponge. It felt silly. But as a kid, I remember feeling like I did something wrong, and I was scared.
Oh no. If you focus in on yourself there, can you see what you're wearing?
I think it was a white shirt. They were dark shorts. And I had white socks on. And I remember I loved I forgot what they're called. They were like the 50s style shoes. They were the white and the black.
Oh yeah.
But I had those, and they were my
jeans.
Yes, they were my favorite pair when I was little.
Wonderful. What else did you love? Can you go into your room or where you lived there?
No, I don't see it.
No. You go to your house where you lived there. Be there now. About the same age.
I remember the outside. I remember it had a big driveway. And I remember the backyard. It had a swing set. And I remember playing on the swings.
Oh, nice. What about the floors if you go inside your house? You see the floors?
No, I don't remember the floors.
What is the feeling inside your house? Do you get a sense?
Home.
Are there any smells that you notice?
Mm-mm.
Okay. If you were just to allow yourself to imagine what the floors look like, just using your imagination, not worrying if you're right or wrong. What do you imagine the floors to look like?
I think they were tan tile and carpet. Like a brown carpet.
If you just use only your imagination and go to your room, could you imagine what it looks like?
My bed. I had stuffed animals on it.
What is your bed like?
I think it is a Disney print, but I can't see it. Right. I think it was Pocahontas.
Do you have a window?
Yeah, because there's light shining through.
What can you see outside of your window?
The swing set.
Okay. And what kind of things do you do during your day there? Get a sense?
I know I go to preschool for a half day.
Tell me about that. Go to preschool and be there now. Tell me about it. Are there any smells that you notice? What do you notice?
I notice we're playing outside. We're playing on the jungle gyms.
Oh, tell me about them.
See Tyler. And there's a girl, Jasmine, I play with.
What does she look like?
Brown hair. She's a little bit taller than me. And she has brown eyes, and she's wearing a white shirt with like a checkered print over the white shirt.
Oh. And what about you? What are you wearing?
It's a white shirt with like a blue dress over it.
I see. And what about your hair?
It's shorter. It's I think it's to my shoulders.
And what's your favorite thing to do there?
I like to swing and then play on the jungle gym.
What do you play on the jungle gym?
Go down the slides and climb it.
What does it look like inside the classroom?
Colorful.
Tell me about it.
See, the carpet has different color squares on it. And I see all our artwork on the walls.
Do you see any of yours?
I think I see a butterfly with mine. I see a lot of butterflies. I don't see my teacher though. She's not there.
She's not there.
No.
What does your class look like?
See tables. They have markers and color pencils on it. And I see the mats are on the floor for nap time.
Oh.
I like nap time.
Oh, you do? What is it like?
You lay on the mat and then sometimes the teacher would come rub your back.
Oh, I see.
It's relaxing.
Oh, that's nice.
And then after nap time, you get a snack.
Oh, what kind of snack do you get?
They were graham crackers.
Oh, I see. And then what do you do?
I think it's time to go home. My mom comes.
Oh, tell me about that. You see her car?
No, I just see my mom come into the classroom.
Oh. What does she look like there?
The same but different. Looks younger.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is still long. She's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Tennis shoes. And her hair is off to one side, like she pulled it behind her neck.
Oh. And she walks to get you? How do you get home?
No, we have to drive, but I don't remember my car.
What's the car like?
I don't remember.
See. What do you imagine it looks like?
I think it's not a truck, but high up.
Oh, it's high up?
Yeah.
Do you notice any smells in that car?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else that looks important? Okay, let's leave that scene and let's move back in time to about the time you were 2 years old. Moving back in time to about the time you were 2 years old and be there now. What's the very first thing that you notice?
I don't see anything.
What do you feel? Just use your feelings and step into your feelings and your other senses.
Happy.
Tell me more about that. You feel happy?
Yeah. I hear Mary Poppins playing. I like that movie.
Oh, nice.
I used to watch it a lot when I was little.
Nice. What else do you notice?
Sitting on the carpet. I don't see me, but I know I'm there.
Oh, that's fine. That's perfect.
And I see the carpet, and I think it's a polka dot blanket. And it's mine.
Oh, that's yours? Tell me about it.
It's pink polka dot, and it has the satin around the edges of the blanket. But I like to hold it.
What does it feel like? It's satin around the edges?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Soft.
Nice. Oh, nice.
And sometimes I fall asleep right there, and I'll have my blanket.
Oh, nice. Tell me more about yourself. Are there any feelings you notice?
happy. I know my mom's home.
Oh, how do you know this?
I hear her singing.
Oh, how does that make you feel?
She sings a lot. I love it. Just me. It's just home.
Oh, that's
My
nice.
mom sings.
Oh, that's so wonderful. What else do you notice?
I think my brother's home, but I don't know. But I feel like he's home.
Oh, you can feel like he's home.
Yeah. I think there's a cat. Chelsea. Yeah, cat Chelsea.
Well, tell me about this cat.
She was orange and white.
Oh,
She was medium size.
oh. How do you feel about the cat?
I love her.
Oh. Do you ever interact with her?
Sometimes, but she likes to just do her own thing.
Mm-mm. I see. How do you spend your time there? Do you get a sense?
Play with my toys or watch my movie. I watch my brother play Super Mario.
Oh, what is that like for you?
I love watching him.
What
He
did you?
he was really good. He's really good at it. Really good at video games.
What does he look like there? Do you notice or sense or feel?
He's taller than me, and his eyes are like a green color, and his hair is back, like combed back, and I think he's wearing blue shorts and I think it's a gray t-shirt. But I always liked watching him play, and he would let me play sometimes.
Oh. And tell me about yourself. What are you wearing there?
I think it's a flower dress, like a nightgown. And my hair is crazy because I don't like anything in it.
So a flower dress and a nightgown.
It has
Wonderful.
pink flowers on it.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Is there anything else that looks interesting or important about that scene?
No.
Okay, let's leave that scene and let's move back in time to when you were in your mother's womb. We're moving back in time to when you're in your mother's womb, and be there now. What's the very first thing that you feel or sense, or the very first thing that you notice?
It's warm and safe and dark. I hear my mom singing.
Oh, she's singing.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about your mom?
I love my mom.
So safe, so protected there. And are you senses you notice?
My fingers.
Your what?
My fingers.
Oh, tell me about that.
Looking down and seeing my fingers wiggle.
Oh, nice. And what about your mother's thoughts? Can you hear her thoughts or no?
No.
But you can hear her singing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wonderful. How does it feel in there?
Warm and safe.
Nice. Wonderful.
It's nice in there.
Is there anything else you notice that looks interesting or important? So let's leave that scene and let's move back in time to where you were before you came into your mother's womb. Moving back in time to where you were before you came into your mother's womb and be there now. What's the very first thing that you feel or sense?
Weightless.
Oh, wonderful. Tell me about it.
Just feel like a ball of white light just there. Just floating in the air.
Floating. Tell me about that.
Floating by my mom.
Oh, tell me about that. Where are you floating? Near her?
Just around her heart and tummy.
How do you do that? What is that like around your heart and tummy?
Just floating up and down.
What does that feel like?
Just weightless and happy. Like I knew I was supposed to go with her.
How did you know this?
I don't know, I just did.
And so you floated around her first before you were in her womb?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that experience. What else do you know or notice about that?
My mom looks younger. I just see her and she's wearing high pants and a belt and I think a pink top. And I just remember floating by her.
Oh, nice. And you said she looks younger. Do you get a sense as to what she's doing?
She's walking, but I don't know where she's going.
Is she carrying anything with her?
She's walking on the sidewalk.
I see. Can you follow her a little bit and see what she's doing?
I think she's going to work.
Oh, tell me about that. Do you follow her to work or do you stop floating around near her?
I stopped. It was just a little bit. floating. Kind of like I was meeting her.
Oh, I see. Was she aware of you at all?
Mm-mm. No.
And why did you want to meet her?
I was told she was gonna be my mom.
Oh, and who told you this?
I don't remember.
Let's leave that scene and move back in time to when you're planning your life as Jamie and be there now. What do you notice?
Hmm. I hear voices, but I don't see anyone.
What do you hear?
It's like they're telling us. Hmm. It's like they're telling us like it's our turn to go.
How does that make you feel?
Okay. Only 'cause I've been there before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Been on Earth for a long time.
You have?
Yeah.
Where have you been before?
I feel like everywhere.
Oh, wow. Were you ever friends with King Arthur or Merlin? Do you see those lifetimes or have awareness of them?
I see Arthur.
Tell me about that.
I remember I was a knight and I could see my metal, my chainmail, and I could smell the leather from my belt. Um, there's a red cape on me. I see my sword.
How would you describe your sword?
It was very sharp and very long, and it had a gold handle. And it had leather wrapped around where I hold it, like a thin leather.
What about your hand as you're holding it? What does your hand look like?
Strong. It's got cuts on it though, like scars from maybe previous fights, I think.
Look at your hand. Tell me where your scars are.
On my knuckles.
If you focus in on yourself there, in the scene, focus in on yourself there. Tell me about yourself.
I have brown hair and brown eyebrows, but my hair is a little long. Um, I have a beard. I think I was a handsome man though.
Oh. And do you feel young or old?
Um, I think I was 30 summers.
See. And you tell me about the surroundings around you. What do you see when you look around you?
Trees. My horse. In the distance, I see a castle.
Tell me about the castle.
There's stones all around it. And trees. And there's a bridge that you have to cross to get over to it. There's an iron gate to get inside. And when you look, if you're looking out from the iron gate, you see a field. And then trees are on one side. There's a lot of people inside.
What do they look like?
Different types of people. Like old and young. And they're just walking around, and some people are selling stuff.
What does it look like they're selling?
See fabric, like and someone is selling apples. Let's see. Kids are playing.
What do the kids look like?
They're wearing brown, almost like shorts, but it looked like they were pants, but they were torn off on the bottom. They're not wearing shoes. And then a baggy shirt, like a tunic shirt, but it's brown, like sturdy.
Oh.
And they're just playing and running around happy.
And this is all inside?
Like a courtyard.
Oh. Interesting. What else do you notice if you look around?
See, other nights they're talking. I'm gonna go walk over them. They're saying that we have to go out and go to a village.
Oh. What happens next?
We're riding.
You're riding?
Riding my horse.
What does your horse look like?
Brown. And she's very soft. She's a good horse. She listens. She's very fast. But
she listens to you. How do you feel about her?
I love her.
Oh.
They make fun of me because I love my horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I think they're jealous because she's such a good horse and listens to me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So you're riding? You're going?
We're riding to the village. Something happened. Like another group of people tried to steal stuff from them, and we have to go protect them.
Oh, I see.
Like,
do you get a sense who?
They were wearing armor, but they had a yellow sigil on them, but I don't know what it is.
What did the sigil look like?
It had yellow and black, but I can't see what's in the middle.
Oh, okay.
It was yellow, black, yellow, and black, like a square.
Oh, okay.
But I can't see what's in the middle.
I see. And so these people that were stealing stuff had armor?
Yeah. I think they were passing through, but they were in our territory, so I don't know. But we had to get them out to save the village. So we helped them.
Tell me about that. What happens when you get there to this village?
We fought. Some people died. My friends. But we won.
Tell me more.
I remember I was tired.
You were tired?
Yeah. I had a gash in my arm and it was hurting. And someone from the village tied it off.
Oh, they tied it off?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. What did you do when you had this gash?
It hurt. It was on my left arm. And they cleaned it. And they wrapped it up. He was very nice. He was an old man who helped me.
It was an old man that did it?
Yeah. And then we had to take the bodies back to our castle. We buried them.
What was that like for you?
It was hard. One was my friend, my very good friend.
How did you take them back?
We each held one. We held their bodies in front of us and while we rode our horse. And we had to go slow because it was too heavy.
Tell me more.
It wasn't that far from our castle, but it took a little longer because we had to go slow. And then when we finally made it there, I remember a lady came and she was screaming and crying because I was holding. I think I was holding her. It's her brother.
Oh. What did you do?
I said I was sorry. And then I remember I gave her a hug. And then we went and buried him. And we put rocks on top of each other.
Oh, you put rocks on top of each other? Tell me about that.
It was one for each of us. But I don't remember why we did it. But it was one for me, one for our sister, and then one for another friend that came that helped me get him off the horse.
Did each person put a rock?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I remember going back to the stables to feed my horse and take care of her because I knew she'd be tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember giving her an apple.
Oh, does she like apples?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to where you live in that place. Just leave that scene, go to where it is that you live in that place and be there now. Where do you live?
I live near the castle, but in a hut. It's like a lot of huts surrounding the castle, like just outside.
What do they look like?
There's hay on top. I could smell it. And stones surrounding the walls. But I go inside and there's my cot. And I was so tired. And we were just falling asleep.
I see. Do you have any possessions in this hut?
There's a necklace. I think it was my mom's. But I don't. I see the black leather cord of it, but I can't see what the necklace looks like.
Oh, I see.
But it's next to my bed.
Where's your mom? Do you get a sense?
Mm-mm. I don't think she's there anymore.
Do you get a sense what happened to her?
I think she was older.
Oh, okay.
She got sick, maybe.
Okay. And how do you spend your time in this place? How do you spend your days?
Training. Being with my brothers. My knights, my brothers. It's just me. But I'm happy.
Wonderful. So let's leave that scene and go to when you see King Arthur and be there now. Where do you see him?
He's on his horse. He's telling us something.
What does he look like?
He's handsome. He's got blonde hair, and blue eyes. He's got facial hair. I see a mustache. He's strong. He's a good king.
He's a good king.
Yeah.
What makes you say that? Why is he a good king?
I feel like he's a friend. He's fair. He's smart. And he cares about his people.
And what is it like when you spend time with him?
Special. But he trains with all of us. He helps us get better.
I see. And do you get a sense what he does during his day and what his life is like?
I know he's in the castle a lot, but I don't know what he's doing.
Do you
I keep seeing a lion.
Tell me about that.
It's just a lion's head. But I don't know what.
What does the lion's head look like?
It's got a big mane and intense eyes. It just stares at you. Fierce and protective. But it's just his head. He's not dead or anything. Just his lion, like a lion's head there.
Interesting. Is there anything else about that you notice?
Just something with Arthur and a lion.
Do you get a sense what that is?
No.
So you guys are friends. He trains with you.
Yeah.
And do you ever talk about things at all?
Yes.
What do you talk about?
Life. I think he wishes he could just be normal, but he is a good king and not have to have the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Is that why he wishes he could just be normal?
I think so. But something's worrying him.
Oh, tell me about that.
There's a battle that we have to go to, and he's worried about it. It's a big one. It's a lot of people.
Tell me more.
He gets hurt there. I don't like to think about it.
Do you see this happen, or do you just know about it, or what happens to him?
Gets stabbed in the back. It was cowardly.
Tell me about this.
I didn't see who did it. There was too many people. But I saw him fall. Someone... We were fighting. And I thought I was winning, and he cut my leg.
Tell me about that.
He cut my right leg on my thigh. And it hurt. It hurt so bad. But I kept going.
You kept going?
I killed him
How did you kill him?
with my sword. I don't...
Tell me about your cut.
I don't remember what happened after that. I had my cut and I was in the forest. But I was by myself. And I don't know where everyone went, but I was by myself. And it was bleeding a lot. And I knew.
You knew? Tell me about this knowing.
It was bleeding too much. I couldn't stop it. And I tried to, but I couldn't, and I knew.
What was that feeling like?
There was sadness because of Arthur. But calming. Calming that I was gonna go in the forest and by myself. And I wasn't scared.
What was it like when your soul left that body? What was that like?
It's peaceful. It was just like taking a last breath and just, I was gone.
And once you were gone, what did you notice?
It didn't hurt anymore.
Now that you're on the other side of that life and you can see it from a different perspective, did you get a sense of what the purpose or lesson was in that life?
I think I thought I failed him for not reaching him, for not getting there in time. Because he was my friend and my king.
And was there a purpose for that life?
I think I wanted to be a warrior. I think I wanted to try out being a knight. Because I had never done that before. And I wanted to see what brotherhood felt like.
Oh, wow. When you were on the other side of that life, and after that life, were you able to meet up again with Arthur or no?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
scene and move ahead in time or place or time to where you're planning your life as Jamie and be there now. What do you notice?
I'm happy.
Tell me more.
And I see my kids.
Oh, tell me about that. What do you see?
I love them, but they drive me crazy.
You see them?
Yeah,
What are they doing there?
they're swimming.
And how do you know that?
Just do.
And they're swimming?
Yeah.
Tell me more. What else do you notice about your kids?
They're just having fun. They're just being themselves. It's a warm day, and they're just out having fun, like kids should.
And as you're planning your life as Jamie, is there anything else you notice?
I just knew I wanted to be a mom. And I don't know.
Okay. So now let's just drift and float away from these scenes. Just drift and float away from these scenes. Now I'd like all the consciousness and personality of Jamie to return and integrate back into the body. Can I please speak with Jamie's higher self now, please? Do I have permission to speak with Jamie's higher self now, please?
Jamie won't let go.
Why?
She feels like she has to be in control. I need to be there.
Couldn't she be there also? Can I just speak to you? The higher self.
I'll try.
Why did you show her that lifetime as Arthur? I mean, knowing Arthur.
She wants to remember, but she can't. She's trying to, but she couldn't, so I wanted to help her.
Oh, that was nice of you. Why did all these things start happening to her after she watched that movie on Merlin?
It was her turn to wake up.
Tell me about that.
She was ready to receive ready to understand and process all this information. She wasn't ready before.
No. Well, in that lifetime where she was friends with Arthur, she felt as if she had failed him. What do you want to tell her about this?
She didn't. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Can she release any guilt she feels about this?
She can.
Okay, can you do that for her now?
Yes.
Why did you show her that Arthur had, was connected to a lion?
Jamie keeps trying to come through.
Well, she can be here too, but I just want to talk to you. Tell me what you want to say.
Arthur and the lion are one. I know she sees the lion a lot during meditation, and that's Arthur coming through.
And what do you mean they're one?
They are one and the same.
Jamie was very curious about Merlin. What do you want to tell her about Merlin?
Merlin's still here. He still walks with everyone. He's still around. He's a light keeper.
Oh. How can she connect with him?
When she's ready, he'll come.
Did she know him in that lifetime where she was friends with Arthur or no?
I think she knew of him. She knew of him, but never saw him.
And was there anything important that you wanted her to understand about that lifetime where she was friends with Arthur?
She did exactly what she was supposed to do in that life. He was a good friend for Arthur, and that's what he needed.
I see. And who was King Arthur?
The once and future king.
The what?
The once and future king.
And what do you mean, the future king?
He'll come back, but not the way he looked before. But his presence will be here.
And what do you mean by that?
When the time is right, he'll come back.
When will the time be right?
Can't say.
Why?
You're not supposed to know yet.
What will it be like when he comes back?
Peace. Love and peace.
Will he show up in a physical form or not a physical form?
Yes, physical.
But
But he won't look as he did before.
how will he look?
Can't say.
Oh, okay. How will people know it's him?
They just will. He's special.
Why is he special?
Because he's going to bring back peace and love.
Oh.
And he is a light being.
What does it mean when someone's a light being and they're coming back as a human?
He's going to make this a better place than what it has been. There's too much evil in the world.
I see. What is Jamie's role on the earth at this time?
She will open her mind up.
What will happen when she does that?
Great things.
Were you the reason that she filled the cancellations?
Yes.
Why did you want her to have a session?
You were the one that could give her the answers. Convenient, right?
Yeah. Her next question is about whether or not she knew King Arthur. I think you answered that.
She did.
Okay. What was her name in that lifetime where she was a knight?
Michael.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else that she needs to know about that lifetime?
No. She knows all that she needs to.
Okay. She's always seen images of Egypt, the desert, pyramids, hieroglyphs, and even a woman. Who is this woman that she keeps seeing?
She knows who it is.
Who is it?
Nefertiti.
Why is she coming into her visions?
She was a servant for her.
Oh, tell me about that.
She helped care for her children.
Tell me about that life.
It was a good life. She was happy. She didn't have children of her own, so she thought of her kids as the children, as her children.
Amazing. Is there anything important about that life that's important to share with her?
She was a good friend to the Queen. The Queen sought advice from her too.
Why?
She trusted her.
And what kind of advice?
How to help the poor,
What kind of
since I grew up that way. She wanted to help make it better and give more food and provide jobs any way she can.
And did Jamie ever see what Nefertiti did during her day?
Mm-mm. No, she was with the children.
What about her relationship?
With who?
With Akhenaten.
Just glimpses.
What did Akhenaten look like?
He was tall. He loved them. Cared for them.
For the children?
Yeah. He took Nefertiti's advice. He listened to her.
What did he look like?
He had a gold headpiece. He had brown eyes. Strong. And tall.
What about his face? What did his face look like?
He had a pointy nose. And thin lips. You put the black around his eyes. That's all.
I see. What color does his skin look like?
Dark tan.
A dark tan?
Not like a mocha color, like a dark tan.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that. With having so many visions of her at the tour in Glastonbury and the pyramids in Egypt, what is she supposed to do with these visions? She wants to know if she should go there.
She needs to go there to be activated.
And how can she get activated?
She has to touch the tour
Oh,
and meditate.
she has to touch the tour and meditate. And what type of meditation does she need to do?
Sit with her back to the tour, against it. And listen to the nature around her. And breathe.
What will happen when she does this?
She'll remember
What will she remember?
Arthur.
Oh. And this will activate her.
Mm-hmm.
And what will she notice after she's activated?
She'll feel lighter.
Oh, okay. And does she need to go to Egypt? She's curious about the pyramids.
She will someday. It's another home. A home from past. Just a connection to.
What will she notice when she goes into the pyramids?
I think she'll feel the love that she forgot about.
Tell me about that. What love does she forget?
The love from her queen and her children. She really loved them.
Who were her children?
The queen's children.
Who were the queen's children?
I don't know.
Did she watch them growing up at all?
Yeah.
What was that like?
They were well behaved. And the boy liked to play tricks.
What sort of tricks?
He liked to hide. And we have to try and find him. And it always used to worry her.
What did the boy look like?
He was shorter than his sister. But they both had dark brown hair. Almost black. And they were missing a few teeth here and there since they were kids.
Is there anything else you noticed about them?
They were happy.
And the boy that was shorter than his sister, is there anything else you notice about this boy that looks interesting?
He was born with something wrong with his lip.
Oh.
But he was very sweet.
He was. What about the rest of his body?
He was okay. He would run around like normal.
Okay, interesting. Okay. She's seen many times herself winning the lottery. What does that mean?
It'll happen. But can't tell her when.
How often do you want her to play the lottery, and which type of lottery?
Omega.
How often should she play it?
Hmm. 2 times a week.
Oh, a few times a week. Okay.
But she'll get it. We just can't tell her when.
Why?
Best kind of prize is a surprise.
Okay. What do you want her to learn? What do you want her to learn in this life?
Just slow down. Have patience.
Why do you want her to slow down?
She likes to have control, or to know everything that's going on or what's going to happen. And she just needs to live in the moment and just slow down.
What would happen if she slows down?
She'll be happier.
Do you have an example of how you want her to slow down?
With her life, she's already doing everything she needs to be doing. With her kids, she's a good mom, but she worries. Everything will be fine and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. But she needs to live in the moment and not worry about the future.
Okay. What does her future look like?
A happy one with her kids and her husband.
What did she come here to do?
She wanted to be a mom. And she wanted to love. With Matthew, it's hard. Not that she doesn't love him. She does greatly. But there are definitely obstacles. And she wanted to prove that she can do it.
Tell me more about that. What is the purpose of his autism?
I feel like he's stuck in his own head, almost. And he has to break out.
And what is the best way for him to break out?
With love and his family and support, music.
Did Jamie plan for him to have, did they plan together for him to have autism or no?
Mm-mm.
Oh. And so you said that the best way for him to break out is through love from his family. Can you tell me more? How can they express the amount of love that he needs to break out of
the shell? They just have to be there for him and accept. And they do. But Matthew is Matthew. And they just have to love him for who he is.
Now, what is going on with Matthew now?
Matthew's very smart and very he has a lot of energy. And sometimes that energy just gets built up in him. I do think they need to sage his room and clear out any negative spirits, because I feel like with his energy that portals are open.
Tell me about that. So you want them to sage and clear out his room because of his energy?
I feel like he has too much energy for just himself.
Okay.
And beings trying to latch on to him.
And what exactly do you want them to do to fully protect him?
Sage, prayer, the whole family in that room, and to bless it and give it their love. And with Matthew, place their hand upon Matthew and pray and ask for love and white light or protection.
Would it be possible for you to protect him and his room now?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to do that?
Sending him all my love.
Can you release any negative energy that's on him now?
Yes.
Can you scan him? Just do a body scan of him? How does he look?
He looks good.
Is there any healing you could give him?
I can, but Matthew has to want to break out and heal himself.
When does it look like he will do this, or what is the catalyst that would help?
I don't know if he's afraid or I think he's so used to just being in his head that he doesn't know what to expect on the outside.
I see.
But I sent him so much love.
What did he come into this life to do? What is his purpose?
To show us all love. And that it's okay to be different. It's okay not to be normal.
How can Jamie best help him?
Doing what she's already doing. She has a lot of patience for him. And She just needs to pray and ask for more protection.
If she prays and asks for protection, will she get that?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. When it comes to prayer, how often does she have to pray?
She should ask for the white light every night before he goes to bed.
Okay. Does Jamie have any blocks in her life that she needs to work on and overcome?
Try not to stress. She stresses a lot. It's not good for her.
What do you suggest she does so that she doesn't stress?
Trust in herself and her instincts. Everything will be okay.
Okay. Which ancestors are watching over her? And do they have any messages for her?
I just see her grandmothers right now. They send their love. And know that they're also watching over Matthew.
Oh, that's nice. Do they have any messages they want to share?
Just keep doing what we're doing. And it'll get better.
It will. It'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
What lineage is Jamie from?
Anunnaki.
Does she have a different place she originates from? Or different planet?
She's ready to wake up, she said.
What?
She said she's ready to wake up.
And what does that mean?
Control.
She is ready or she's not ready?
She is.
Well, we can come back to that. How can she build a stronger connection to you?
Meditation.
Is the meditation she's doing now okay, or does she need to do anything different?
No, she's seeing what she needs to see.
Why did you show her the black in the beginning of her session?
She was trying too hard to remember.
Oh, okay. How could she better receive clear messages from her guides?
When she goes to sleep, ask,
Okay.
and she'll dream. She just needs to remember to write them down.
Okay. How can she access her intuition or psychic abilities?
She has it. She just has to release control and believe in herself.
What do all the symbols that she sees meditating mean? Is she supposed to do anything with that knowledge?
They're downloads from above. Her little alien friend, as she likes to call him, sends them to her.
Who is that alien friend?
Ibn.
What's his name?
Ibn.
Oh. And how does he know her?
He's been with her before, but I think they just found each other.
What do you mean by that?
He was lost, and they met one day.
And does he have anything he wants to tell her?
That he's there with her with love. And it's okay if she doesn't remember all the symbols. They're not for right now.
When are they for?
Later.
Why? Why does she need these symbols for later?
To help her become one with her true self.
Oh, how do the symbols help her become one with her true self?
It'll help her to remember.
Is there any way to use them now for her to help herself to remember?
No, not telling you.
She has a very close relationship with her mom. She feels like they're kindred spirits. Are they? Tell me about their relationship.
They've had many lifetimes together.
Oh, really? Like which kind of lives?
That was they shared when she was in Egypt. It was her sister.
Who was her sister?
And she was working for the queen. She had a sister.
Oh, okay. Do you know her name?
Akra.
Could you say it again?
Akra.
Okay. What was your name?
Sitsui.
Wonderful. Why are they the only two in the family with O negative blood? And what does the O negative blood mean for them?
They have both been on this earth a long, long, long time. And have had lots of lives here. They're a part of the Anunnaki.
Tell me about that.
Jamie says it's really hot.
Yeah, it was super hot. Just continue.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
No problem. Who are the Anunnaki?
They were an alien race. Here a long, long time ago. And the O negative blood is very powerful.
Tell me about that.
It's not very common. And old blood.
I see. Interesting. Is there anything she needs to understand about this power that she has within her?
Not at this time, no.
And can she connect with the Anunnaki?
Through meditation, if she asks.
And were they all bad? Is that the case?
Not all of them, no. Some were good and some wanted to help.
Okay. Interesting. Right. Going back to Matthew, is there anything that Jamie can do to help with his anger and his behavior?
Send him love and light.
Okay.
And patience.
Okay. Will he ever talk more fluently?
Only if he wants to. He's a very strong-willed and stubborn boy.
But if he wanted to, he could talk more fluently. Oh,
Yes.
that's interesting.
It's all there in his head.
Oh,
He just has to escape it.
okay. Is there more that she could do for his talent with music?
When he's a little older, when he will sit and listen for a tutor. But he is very talented, and he will do something with his music.
That's good to know. Is there anything that you would like to tell her about Ava?
Oh, Ava. She's a good girl.
What is her purpose here?
To spread love. Ava is she's a very loving, kind soul, and we need more of them. And she's here to show people. And she's here to show people that it's okay to be different, and she loves her brother and wants him to be treated like everyone else.
Oh, I see.
She's going to do great things.
Like what?
She'll bring peace. She's going to bring peace and happiness wherever she goes.
Wonderful. She was also curious if Ava had any druid ties to her.
She does. She was there.
Tell me about that.
She is what would they say was a witch, but she wasn't a witch. She was just a woman of the earth.
Tell me more.
She was a healer. And she could see things into the future.
Oh, wow. Does she have any of these abilities in her current life or no?
Not right now, no. No.
Why?
Because she's just supposed to bring peace and love.
Oh, okay. Does Jamie have any spiritual ties to her husband?
Yes, they've shared lives. Not as much as her mom
Oh,
in this life, but they've
what type of life did they share?
been brother and sister. They've been married before, but where Jamie was the man and Jacob was the woman.
Should
But
he? Go ahead.
they love each other very much.
Should he become a police officer, or is there a better career for him?
He can if he wants to, but I feel like he is better with helping others. Not to say that policemen don't help, but more in a medical sense.
Oh, in a medical sense.
Yes.
Do you have any ideas?
He was an EMT but took a break from it. And I think something along those lines, or Just something medical where he could help others.
Oh, okay. What is his crypto phrase that he's forgotten?
He needs to meditate more, and he needs to ask his spirit guides, especially before he goes to sleep. And he needs to write down his dreams, and the password will be given to him.
Do his spirit guides or higher self want Jamie to know anything about him? Or
just that he loves her.
okay. Where is the best place for them to live?
Right now, where they are is perfect for Matthew because of his schooling. But if they wanted to move, I know they were talking or looking in Florida, and I know they are very much wanting to go to England. Either will be fine.
Oh, either will be fine. Where in Florida would be good for them?
They were looking near Sarasota.
Oh, nice. Okay. And that would be good for them, and not at this time.
Not right now.
Her brother Kevin is schizophrenic. Does his higher self have any messages or his spirit guides?
I know it was scary, but sometimes the vision or the voices mean more than what they seem, and sometimes they will help him when he needs it most. But right now, he is doing everything he needs to, and he is such a beautiful and caring soul that he does not need to worry.
Why did he all of a sudden start hearing visions and seeing visions?
I think they came on way too strong with how they did it instead of slowly incorporating it. And it was just too much for him.
Oh, okay. Is there any healing you could send him?
I sent healing to him.
Okay. Can you do a body scan on Jamie? Scan her body and look deep within her body and see how her body looks?
I see her scoliosis. She can do yoga and stretches to help ease some back pain.
What is the very root cause of this scoliosis?
Just what she came into with this life.
Well, why did she come into it with that?
She said something new, but I don't know. I don't know her true reason.
Could you say that again?
She said to try something new, but I don't know what she means by it.
Oh, okay, to try something new. Well, does she need it anymore? Is there any purpose for the scoliosis, or did she learn everything she needed to learn from it?
There's no purpose. I'm not sure why. Because it's just a curvature of the spine. So I'm not sure what her purpose was for it, but if she does her stretches, it'll help ease her pain.
Okay, well, since she got the message, there's no real purpose for it, and she just wanted to try something new, and she did. Can you release it for her then? Can you just heal it, bring her spine back into alignment if there's no purpose?
I'll try.
What are you doing to do that?
Just deep breaths. But she needs to do the exercises also, and that'll help. And for her migraines, I know stress can be one of the reasons.
What's the very root cause of her migraines? She said she had them since she was a child.
Stress. She's always a worrier ever since she was little, and pleasing people. But I'm going to help her with that and
How are you going to help her?
tell her to let go.
Good. Can you tell her to let go now?
You need to let go. You can only do so much. You need to let go.
What about the rest of her body?
She's good.
Do you have any advice on her next steps after this session?
Her teacher will tell her. Her mom.
Okay. Do you have any other advice when it comes to her life?
Just trust your instincts. And don't doubt yourself.
Thank you for that. Do you have any final messages for her?
Just that I love her and she's very well loved between her family and herself.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Can you tell me about yourself? How do you know her? How does it work? How are you her higher self?
I'm just another variation of her. A part of her. The part that is more truthful and honest.
Oh, I love that. And you love her? How is she doing?
She's doing good. She just needs to be calm, let go, have patience, and keep loving as much as she can, as she's already doing.
That's wonderful. Do you have any final messages for her?
Everything will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask the higher self to recede to the place where it belongs,